Hey everybody, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Today's my episode 63, AEW Fright Night Dynamite. And honestly, this show was insane. There was everything going on. I actually started off with the OC, Darby Allin and Yuta versus Yuta and Daniel Garcia. Um, this match had tables. This match had fighting in the crowd, coffin drops off of like the railings. Um, Spears, splashes into tables. This match had everything. Honestly, one thing that the commentary kept talking about though was that how Yuta tapped out at this match. They were like, oh, especially Daniel Bryan. He was like, oh, did he learn that from Mox? You know, Moxley tapped out and quit in the I Quit match with the same Scorpion Deathlock. Did Yuta learn that from Moxley? Kind of digging. So I wonder if they're trying to play it that Moxley's going to lose, that Moxley's going to lose his Death Riders or the Death Riders going to turn on Moxley. Moxley hasn't taken a break in a long time. But what the commentary did say was, hey, Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin never tagged together and they worked really well together. So what's going to happen? Maybe they're going to have a tag team run. We'll see what happens. Darby is kind of a lone wolf and the Orange Cassidy is in the conglomeration. So what do you guys think? Let me know what y'all think in the comments if they're going to continue their tag team partnership. Uh, you did have Hook, and Hook was pretty much calling out Joe. Joe, I know people are saying I'm the underdog in this match because Joe is going to be Hook, Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, and Joe for the number one contendership at Full Gear. So he was like, Joe, everybody says I'm the underdog, but you showed your true colors to everybody. I've already seen them, and Joe, I'm putting you on notice. So pretty much he's calling Joe out, and they're gonna have some issues. They had a match way back when that gave Joe respect for Hook, and now they're not together. So he's pretty much calling them out, like I'm coming for you. After that, you had the Don Callis still trying to pitch to the Young Bucks. Hey, y'all deserve to be in the family. People out here are treating you like shit. Join the family, and you'll be able to get your stuff back. He was like, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you what I did for y'all. He was like, go out to your match. Go out to your match tonight, and I already set up your intro. So he had the Bucks music going. The video started. Excuse me, I was sick last week, so sorry. You had the music started. You had what's it called? A bunch of pyro. He's pretty much had an intro the way he does with Echaceto and some of those guys. He was just announcing almost like Michael Buffer. Um, just giving them that praise, and then the pyro went off. It was fucking huge pyro. Also gave some digs to Kenny Omega talking shit. And the Bucks felt good about this. I'm like, damn, that's what I'm talking about. Yo, thanks, Don. Like, that's good that they were feeling themselves. But again, huge fucking pyro. That pyro was so big, it should have been in an arena type deal, like outside or a football field or something like that. It was a huge pyro. The Bucks were in shock that Don Callis was looking out for them like that. But again, FTR versus the Bucks versus Jet Speed versus Jurassic Express. This match, guys, had everything. All four teams were doing their thing. All four teams was hitting their spots, hitting their tag team combos. Um, Jurassic Express looks strong. Jet Speed look good too, but they keep losing. Especially to be the number one contender. They keep winning the money matches that the Bucks always want. So it's funny. They actually said it on social media. Like, yeah, we don't win the tag teams, but we will keep winning money. So that's kind of good. But at some point they may break apart. They're not winning. They're not winning as a tag team. They're not winning the titles. So at some point, maybe Jet Speed might break up. Kevin Knight's a hell of a wrestler. A lot of people like Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey. I personally don't know anything about both of these guys till they came to AEW. I heard there was in TNA and New Japan. So seeing them at AEW, Kevin Knight's a hell of a wrestler. Speedball he's still growing on me, if that makes sense. But it was a good match. Everybody hit their spots. Every tag team looked good. The Bucks looked real good. The Jurassic Express looked real good. You had actually at one point FTR kind of fuck with the Bucks. They worked together the week before, and then they kind of they were acting like they were going to work together, and then Cash kind of fucks with the Bucks and knocks them down out of the ring. So pretty much saying like we all for ourselves. Long story short, you did have the FTR kind of tag themselves in. No one paid attention. Hit their finisher 1, 2, 3. FTR versus Brodito. at Full Gear. But to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous about this match. FTR is a hell of a tag team. Bro Dito, I call them the odd couple of the tag team division. They don't seem like they should be together. Um, I want Bro Dito to win, but I think FTR, since they turned heel, they may win again. But we'll see what happens, guys. I think FTR might win that at Full Gear. Hopefully not, but I think that's the way it's going. Um, or maybe you might have what's it called? Adam Copeland come back and cost them the match. We don't know. Technically he's on a hiatus. Maybe he'll come back for the one night and then be gone again. Or maybe Christian will help do some shit. We'll see what happens. The Don Callis family summit happened, and the Don Callis family comes out. Don starts talking, and he kind of lets everybody talk. Rocky Romero presents the new Don Callis family portrait. Everybody looks all chiseled and all oiled up, and they're the ones who have titles are standing right behind Don Callis. And they did mention, some of the guys aren't here because of traveling. Main one being Takeshita, and we wish we could be here, but he's not. And you had Rocky Morel again present the painting. You had Sean Alexander present kind of like a vignette or a video package of how well the Don Cal family works together, how dominant they look. And then you had Kyle Fletcher talk about the oath that they all took to be part of the Don Cal family, which this is the first time we ever heard of an oath before, but they talked about it. And before Kyle Fletcher could actually get everything done and said, Takeshita's music, hey, he comes out looking pissed, and commentary was like, hey, Takeshita, he made it, he's here. And everybody looking around like, oh shit, he's here, he made it. Like, okay. Takeshita comes to the ring and does a beeline straight inside the ring and looks over at Okada, pissed. They've been having their issues. Okada took him out during the pay-per-view last time. And Don Callis family, hey, y'all got to knock this off. Takeshita, you were the first one that I signed to this family, and you could be the first one out. He goes like, but I want you to shake hands with Okada, and we could squash this. And at first, he's shaking his head like, no, fuck no. And then out of nowhere, he's like, all right, Don, like giving Dom his respect. And he goes to shake Takeshita's hand, Okada's hand, and he gives Takeshita the finger. And then they start like, yo, what the fuck, man? Like, that's BS. And they kind of had to split the family up. And Don Callis goes, hey, we're going to fix this. He goes, we're going to have a tag team match next week. Y'all two are going to work together, and I'll make y'all work together. I want to see these two wrestle already. Okada versus Takeshita. Put both belts on the motherfucking line. Winner take all. Why not? Like, I am so bored of Okada's character. Like, honestly, he's lazy. He's no excitement from me for Okada except for the fuck you that he does to everybody. That's all he got. Or I hit the wrong button. That's all he got. Like, I don't understand why everybody like him. I've heard people say like, hey, he was really good at New Japan. This is just his character for AEW. Okay, I get it, but he's still boring. It's still boring. To me, out of Japan, the guys who've come to Keshida has been the best one they've signed personally, hands down. He can run with the big guys. He can run with Ospreay. He can run with Okada. He can run, or sorry, he can run with Kenny Omega. He can run with the Bucks. Takeshita is the fucking man. If Will Ospreay is going to win the title soon, Kyle Fletcher going to win the title soon, Takeshita is going to win that title somewhere. Like, it might be all three, like year back to back to back. Somebody going to take it from the other. But Takeshita is going to be AEW World Champion at some point. And he's going to break away from the Don Callis penalty at some point. Just make that shit happen already. Okada versus Takeshita at Full Gear, winner take all. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Kyle O'Reilly versus Moxley 2. This was like a rematch from the week prior because, Moxley knocked out the ref. So technically, it was either a no contest or Kyle O'Reilly won by disqualification. Now, this match again is technical versus this death jitsu or some shit that Moxley calls it. Kyle O'Reilly was going in on Moxley. He was going for a submission every time. He was going for, a leg lock. I think a Takina clutch himself. Jushi Katami, whatever they call that shit. Like, he was going in for like multiple submissions. Well, they were like rolling around. They ended up outside. He puts him in a fucking guillotine. The ref's like, yo, bring it back in, bring it back in. Moxley actually taps outside, but they got counted out. So this match again, no fucking winner technically. The crowd was booing. Shit, I was pissed off at home. Like, yo, let somebody fucking win. I know you want to make Moxley look strong, but fuck, at some point you're making Kyle O'Reilly look fucking weak. So let there be a winner. Well, Kyle O'Reilly actually goes in the ring and goes to the ref like, "Yo, give me 5 more minutes. You can do that. Give me 5 more minutes. Excuse me." And Marina Shafir gets in the ring and punches out the ref. Knocks her down. And right there, Claudio gets in, Yuta gets in, Garcia gets in. They start attacking. What's it called? Kyle O'Reilly there. Then you had Roderick Strong come in, try to help. They beat him down though. But then you had Mark Briscoe, and then you had Orange Cassidy come out, and they kind of save it. And they're looking at each other. They got him down on the apron or the mat area, and you had everybody else in the ring. And Briscoe goes on his funny rants like he usually does, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, OC, yo, let him know what you're gonna do." And Orange is like, "Nah, man, I'm good." Like, come on, man, you gotta say it. He was like, "All right, man, all right." He was like, blood and guts. So you're gonna have the conglomeration and Darby Allin versus the Death Riders. But Marina Shafir, she ain't in it. She was pissed though. She's like, "What about pretty much what about me?" Like she was going after those guys. And we'll see what happens with Marina Shafir, but it's gonna be the Death Riders versus the conglomeration with Darby Allin and Roderick Strong. So can't wait to see it, guys. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys got on that. You had the CEO actually attack Chris Statlander, brought her into the ring, started beating her down. Athena actually joined in, so those two girls are going to be in the tag team tournament. They actually start beating down the champion. A little bit after that, they both hit their finisher moves, and then you have Willow and Harley Cameron come out and save the day, chase those two girls off. Just so happens that next week on Dynamite, it's going to be Harley Cameron and Willow versus Athena and Mercedes Moné. I personally feel like Mercedes and Athena are going to move on in this round. I like Willow. I like Harley. I just don't see them winning as a tag team personally. I could be wrong, but I personally feel like it's going to be Athena and Mercedes that move on in that round, at least to the next round. Um, you did have a match right after that too. Sky Blue and Julia Hart from the Sisters of Sin versus Jamie Hayter and Queen Amanada. Now this was the first round of the tournament. Um, Jamie Hayter and Queen won. They called these girls out, so it was a good match. Everybody was doing their thing. Hayter and Amanada are a powerhouse. That team got put together kind of out of nowhere, like within a couple weeks. They're a powerhouse. They knocking those girls around. Long story short, though, you had Tekla come out, spears them, caused them the match. 1, 2, 3. The Sisters of Sin win, move to the next round. Now, right after that, though, you had Penelope Ford and Megan Bain pretty much talking with an interview. Penelope Ford hurt herself the week before, and I kind of saw it when she did a moonsault off the top rope. She actually fell on her elbow, and you heard her scream during it. But she did finish the match last week. But don't know if it's part of the story or she's really injured. But Megan Bain's like, well, I'm still in it. So if any girls want to stand up and team with me, we're gonna run the table. Marina Shafir comes up, looks at her, she goes, "I got your back." And then Moxie goes, "Y'all two together, hoo, people gonna get it." I always thought it was gonna be Megan Bain and Ford to begin with because they've been pushing them heavily. Now Marina Shafir and Megan Bain, I could definitely see that being an issue for a lot of the women. They're both strong, they both can grapple, they could both wrestle. Um, I still want Ty Conti and Anna Jay to be the first women's to win it. But with that move there, and you still got Mercedes and Athena, and you still have Tony Storm with Mina, it's gonna be rough to see who wins. I still want Anna Jay and Ty Conti to win. I feel like they deserve it. They've been the longest girls tag team together, but we'll see, guys. I honestly don't know what's going on there, but you guys let me know in the comments who do you guys got to win the whole thing for the women tag team champions. Um, Main event, you had Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe versus Ricochet versus Hook. Now in this match, right away, they weren't giving Hook his respect at all, at all, guys. And it's just weird to me. They kept like sunning him, like, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. And finally, he just started going apeshit on everybody. The only person who actually wanted to wrestle Hook was Ricochet. Ricochet looked good in the match. Bobby looked good in the match. Joe looked good in the match. At one point, though, Ricochet hits Bobby in the back with a ladder. They kind of run off. Samoa Joe chokes out. Hook wins the number one contendership. Bobby Lashley chases Ricochet out because now he's pissed. That's the second time I think Bobby's lost the number one contender now. And Hook at some point is gonna cost Samoa Joe the match at Full Gear, but we'll see what happens. Right after that, though, they had Hook. They had Samoa Joe signed for the paperwork to be on the match. They brought out the Fright team, and the Ops knocked them out. Long story short, you really had Hangman dressed up as Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone would do like a voiceover, beats Joe down. You're gonna have Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe at Full Gear. This is the second time now Hangman's been hiding in the costume. I didn't notice it at first, honestly, until I saw that he wasn't matching the speech. But in all, great episode, great finish, great start. Nice episode of AEW Fright Night. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Y'all have a great one.